From the King George's Estates in downtown Fords, New Jersey. Good Friday evening, everybody, and welcome back to KC and 60 right here on Shovio.com. Kevin Canessa here with you for the next hour or so, to be joined by Rodzilla in just a few minutes. And as always, I thank you all for being here. If you're a regular, and of course anybody who is here for the first time, welcome you guys as well. But Burak, as usual, you're not making any sense whatsoever. Please find your medication and take it. I don't know exactly what you're talking about. So, a lot to get to tonight, and some interesting stuff coming out of Metsville today. And I'm going to wait till Rodzilla gets on board, but when you see some of the things that have been accused against the New York Mets in this lawsuit that's contained with the whole Bernie Madoff situation, it is absolutely insane what the Mets and their people are accused of doing. And let me tell you something. This goes far beyond just Fred Wilpon and Saul Katz. There are literally about 100 people who are named in this lawsuit. Most of them are of the family Wilpon or the family Katz, but there are so many people who are named in this lawsuit pardon me, that it's not even funny. And just to give you an example, let me pull Rodzilla up first. Hold on a second. Hello, Rodzilla.
Hello.
How are you today?
All right, that was very brief tonight.
Yeah, you were very low-key there.
I already gave you my hello on the phone.
Yeah, but maybe I guess you're afraid of the over-under, too, on the hello, huh?
Yeah, I know. I was waiting for Frogco to type that in the chat room.
We've already hit 3, so we have to see what happens.
Boy.
Yeah, we tied the over and under, so it must have been 3.
Set a new record.
Yeah. So now, have you heard? You obviously know what's going on with this Met situation, right? With the lawsuit,
right.
The trustee. Listen to some of the shit that's mentioned in the. This is from the actual papers of the complaint filed against Saul Katz and Fred Wilpon. This is the very beginning of it. This is enough right there to drive you crazy if you're a Mets fan. There are thousands of victims of Bernie Madoff's massive Ponzi scheme, but Saul Katz is not one of them. Neither is Fred Wilpon, and neither are the rest of the partners at Sterling Equities, who, along with Fred and Saul, are sophisticated investors who oversee and control Sterling and its many business ventures. The Sterling partners, their families, their related trusts, and various entities they own, operate, and control were collectively one of the largest beneficiaries of Madoff's fraud, reaping hundreds of millions of dollars in fictitious profits over their quarter-century relationship with Madoff. The Sterling partners, their family members, and trustees of Sterling-related entities made so much easy money from Madoff for so long that despite the many objective indicia of fraud before them, the Sterling partners chose simply to look the other way. Could you get any more scathing than that in the right opening paragraph of the suit that's being filed against Sterling Equities?
You know, I think I need a translator for what I just heard, because I'm right now hitting myself in the head with a hammer after hearing all that gibberish and bullshit.
Okay, so why don't I put it in simple terms? The Wilpons,
put it in layman's terms. Right,
the Wilpons and the Katz family, a.k.a. Sterling Equities, a.k.a. New York Mets LLC, and they have all these other, they have like 100 and something different corporations that they have in their name, made more money off of Bernie Madoff's bad money than anybody else did in the entire country.
There has to be something fishy right there when you hear those words that you just put in, and you can't tell me that the Wilpons didn't know anything that was going on with Madoff. I'm sorry. You've heard of Watergate. Guess what? This is Metsgate, and guess what? Obviously, they're not gonna get caught. What are you gonna do? You're talking about perjury, and you're talking about jail time if they do get caught.
Well, that's the whole idea here. You know, the Wilpon, Fred Wilpon's been up, and his kid Jeff have been on the mic and on TV and on radio, and they've said countless number of times that not once were they
Right.
in any kind of trouble because of the whole
Involved.
Bernie Madoff situation. Now you turn it around. This trustee is saying that not only were they affected by the whole Madoff situation, they were probably the biggest beneficiaries of Bernie Madoff's illegal actions. For example, there was a guy who listen, there's just too many names involved. I'm not going to go back and read through the whole thing. But there was another advisor who worked for Merrill Lynch. Merrill Lynch was advised never to deal with Bernie Madoff because of his unethical practices. This guy from Merrill Lynch basically told Fred Wilpon and Saul Katz that in dealing with Bernie Madoff, you cannot, in God's earth, make the kind of money he's making for you guys in such a small amount of time and expect that something illegal is not going on. And the Mets basically turned their back on this guy and said, it is what it is. So, I mean, right there alone, you've got yourself a major case here where they were told that if they continue to do this, they're going to be making illegal money off of him, but they still did it. So, I mean, how could you not believe this?
Right. And guess what? Think about the stadium where they're playing right now. City Field, which is basically, City Financial, and right there, that has to throw up a red flag and say, you need money to build a stadium. Anyone needs money to build a stadium. And you can't tell me that they didn't take any of that money from Madoff and put it right towards the stadium. Because guess what? They didn't put it for the fans, that's for sure.
They didn't invest as much in the ball club, but what they did say was that a lot of the money was used for the day-to-day operations. And
Right.
and I mean, and what they also did was they used it to get more loans. They took billions of dollars worth of loans out because they needed to pay for the stadium and for other things. But they just didn't invest it properly when it comes to the ball club. But the ball club, of all ironies, valued at an estimated, I think, $1 billion, was the most valuable asset that they had in all of their enterprises. Isn't that ridiculous?
Right, and I think the fact you have to also factor into it that some of the money going in was, government funded, was, from the state or whatever, from the state of, I think it was the state of New York, right?
Yeah, minimal, but there
correct?
was state money
Minimal.
that did go in. Yeah, absolutely.
Right, but bottom line is here, there has to be some suspicion that they had to know what was going on. You're never going to be able to catch them even if you wanted to. But the fact that they profited off of this is definitely a smoke signal to any fan.
So, in your heart of hearts, do you think that the Wilpons knew that they were making illegal money from Madoff, or what?
From my vantage point, I think they did. I think they knew darn well what they were doing, and that any chance to profit off of someone that did something illegal is fair game, and they were willing to do whatever it took to do it. And I don't think the Wilpons are not stupid. They're smart people. They were in the I don't know what Mike Francesa was saying. They were in the real estate market before they joined the venture to buy the Mets and everything. But you have to be smart in business and in life, and if you don't know how to make money off of someone else's poor decisions, then you're in the wrong game.
Yeah, I'm with you. I really am. I think they were very shrewd. They were smart business people. They didn't need to be told otherwise, and they knew that what he was doing was illegal. Listen, if you invest $50 million and within 2 weeks you have a $250 million profit returned to you in a check,
Right.
I mean, obviously something went very, very well, very, very quickly. And in this type of market, even over the last 25 years, you don't turn 50 million into 250 million overnight like that. And that's basically what was happening here. And that's why like when you hear guys like Francesa saying, I don't think they really necessarily knew what was going on.
Right.
I don't buy that. I can't see how they didn't know. I think it's foolish to say that they didn't know otherwise. I mean, they are not stupid people by any means. Yes, they made some pretty dumb decisions, but they're not dumb when it comes to the type of money that they were making, and not by being naive to think, well, shit, wow, how did we get this so fast? Something isn't right here, right?
Right, because money makes the world go round, and if they don't have money in their pockets, they have no profit, they have no team to build, and guess what? If they had no money, they wouldn't be owning the Mets right now, who is um, profitable as it is, despite how badly their team is and the fact that no one goes out to see them play. So you have to figure that in. There has to be some sort of revenue that they're generating because obviously it's not coming from the people that are spending hard-earned money to go see them play.
Exactly. And those are the bigger schmucks, truthfully. And that's why
right.
I'm glad I was not part of privy to going to Citi Field last year, and I ain't going this year either. I mean, there's no reason to. There's no reason. I don't want a penny of my dollars, of my money going into their pockets because of the type of business they run. And let's face it. Can you tell me? Can you think of one significant move, other than of course hiring a new manager and a new general manager? But can you tell me or think of a significant move that this baseball club has made in this off season?
I can't think of one.
No.
I really can't. They've gotten rid of their great setup man. They got rid of their middle reliever, and guess what? They have the same pitching staff they had last year, and they're rolling the dice with the same starting lineup. And obviously, Carlos Beltran is not the same as he was once he got injured.
Right.
He's certainly not lived up to his potential.
Right.
You could see him getting moved somewhere in the middle of the season.
Absolutely.
Jose Reyes, who knows? And the only staple that you have there is David Wright.
Well, listen, I don't even say that. You see, everybody says, "Oh well, you're gonna build your ball club, your nucleus is David Wright." To me, David Wright is the epitome of a loser, because David Wright has not had but one winning season in 2006. Other than that, tell me why David Wright needs to be the nucleus of your baseball team when the guy has not produced to get this team into the playoffs. And the same thing goes with Jose Reyes too. I'm so sick and tired of hearing everybody say that this is your nucleus here, where these two are the epitome of losing because they do not win. They have one winning season, one good winning season, and that was 2006. That's not to say that they haven't been over 500, because there have been a couple of other seasons, 05, 07, 08, where they were over 500. But the truth is, they produced nothing. So not even there. And, Beltran, you don't know what the hell you're going to get out of. You still have three very, very burdensome contracts, too, that they can't get rid of. Number one, Frankie Rodriguez, who may very well wind up having to pitch for the team this year, which is going to suck if it happens. Number two, Luis Castillo, who they can't give away, even if they pay 3/4 of his salary. And then the other, of course, is the phenom Oliver Perez,
Santana.
the one. Santana, I'm not concerned. Listen, Santana's going to be out for a little while. That's fine. But the Wilpons, despite all this marvelous money that they've supposedly made from the Madoff fraud, still getting turned around and invested properly in this baseball team. So what the hell did they do with all this money? That's what I'd love to know. Do you have any idea?
I don't know. Maybe they went out and spent it on the ponies, or invested in something else illegal that they're not telling anyone in.
Yeah, seriously, they must be in a drug cartel or like the hooker business or something. Really, they have offices out in Vegas, in some Ritz-Carlton casino hotel, just throwing money away. It's ridiculous. I mean, could you even dream of this as a Yankee fan?
I don't know. You can't put a dollar sign on. I don't know what I'm gonna say. Never mind.
No, my point is, as a Yankee fan.
Now.
No, my point is, as a Yankee fan, could you even dream of something like this happening to your team, where your owners were supposedly getting this illegal money and then not investing it in the team?
No, that would be hard to believe for a team that plays in the richest town in the world. That they want to put the team first. And the Mets are obviously on the wrong side of the fence because they had owners that decided to invest in someone's illegal doing.
Listen to this. Sterling's partners' reliance of Madoff consistently and steady returns ran further than just opening hundreds of accounts. Sterling used its Madoff account as a substantial source of liquidity to develop and sustain its businesses, including professional baseball and real estate. Where? I mean, I'd like to say. I would like to say. I don't want this to be like Nancy Grace here reading a court briefing here, but the bottom line is, they profited, and they still have found a way to make this organization, the baseball club, a complete and utter disgrace. And to me, that's unacceptable, isn't it?
It is for you to have to, sit there and watch them on TV when they can't be watched on TV, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And then here's the other thing, too. They had said from the very beginning that they were hoping just to sell a quarter or 20% of the baseball club. Apparently now they're going to have to throw in part of SNY, too, which is a very, very lucrative part of their holdings. The ball club is worth $1 billion. They say that SNY is worth anywhere from $500 to $750 million. And so all this money that if they have to pay back, they're not going to be able to sustain a baseball club. They're not going to be able to sustain a television network. So maybe the time has finally come for them to just say, enough. We can't do this anymore. We got to bow out. We've made enough money so that our family will be comfortable for the rest of our generations, not just for us, but for every generation that comes after us. Maybe we should just sell the damn team. But do you think they'll do that?
I don't know. Maybe they should go sell it to Mark Cuban, who has more money than God, and apparently wants to spend it and doesn't care what cost it takes.
Well, you know what?
But like I said, that comes into the territory of a monopolization of two teams. And like I said before in your show, I don't think it's good for it to have a greedy guy who's got a huge ego that has all the money. Yes, he'll get great talent, but that doesn't always mean you're going to win.
Do you realize you're describing the owner of your favorite football team, though?
I know. I already had this discussion with Zach, and I'm not. I have no problem with owners wanting to spend money on their team. It's just a matter of how you do it. And Jerry Jones spent more money on the stadium than he did his team, and that's why they're not in the playoffs. To be honest with you.
Okay.
So, it's about making smart decisions. Bottom line, and I don't think that Wilpons did. And we can beat a dead horse about this, but this topic's going to go on and on.
Yeah, we have only seen the surface of this. It's going to be months before we see anything else. And it's 21 past the hour, and believe it or not, the first Shovio break's coming up. Do you believe that?
Wow, I'm waiting for the horn or something, but I guess your mixer is down.
No, I didn't prepare it. I should have, though. It's 21 past the
right.
hour. I know. Canessa and Zilla here with you on KCN60 this Friday night. We're going to take the first of two Shovio breaks. When we come back, we're going to turn our attention to another sport. We're doing a little bit of sports heavy today, but we got some other stuff, including Ronald Reagan's 100th birthday coming up on Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday. But we're going to turn our attention to another sport real quick on the other side of the Shovio break. You're watching KCN60 with Rodzilla and Canessa. Do not go away. We got a lot more to do. Hey, did you notice that that Frog Hill was just asked us to please cover hockey, America's sport?
Wow, we're going to cover hockey because
How did he
had a
know?
story. I wonder if you have the same story that I was actually going to talk about.
Well, which one was this?
Something about a little brawl between a former Rangers general manager's son and someone else, possibly.
A little bit more specific, please.
Someone named Glenn Campbell and someone named Ott.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
First name?
Please feel free to tell us all about this.
Oh my God. Okay, well, apparently there was a game last night between the Boston Bruins and the Dallas Stars, which apparently got too physical. And the two players, one named Glenn Campbell, who is the son of Colin Campbell, who was the vice president of the directors in the NHL, decided to get in a scrum with, I can't remember the first name of this guy, but this guy's name is Ott, and I'm sure Kevin has it because I'm drawing blank and I have the page. But
No. I'm laughing because Viking Mike put Rhinestone Hockey because of Glenn Campbell, who, of course, was the singer of Rhinestone Cowboy, like going back in the 70s. That's why it was funny.
Don't switch topics. I got enough going on in my head here. But anyways, they had a big MMA brawl, and I'm sure Kevin has a nice video on it.
No, I don't. I didn't even know this happened. That's even more ridiculous. However,
Shucks.
no. But you see, I do have a hockey fight to show, but it happens to be a completely different fight.
Okay, well, obviously I was on the wrong side of the 8 ball there.
All right, you were close though. You were close. This is something that very rarely happens in hockey anymore. But watch how New York Islanders goalie Rick DiPietro gets the shit kicked out of him with one left-handed hook. Now you gotta understand here. Goalies, when they fight, are automatically ejected. Okay, yeah, you're a little blurry. You're a little blurry there for some reason. Okay,
Yeah, no, I'm blurry.
yeah, goalies get kicked out of a
I
game.
feel like Mattress Man.
Yeah, seriously, put it down under your chin. And here's the thing: they get kicked out right away. And the one thing that was really crazy about this fight took place with 17 seconds to go. The goaltender for the Penguins, Brent Johnson, was 17 seconds away from getting a shutout, and because he got ejected with 17 seconds to go, he lost the shutout, and he has to share it with
my God.
Yeah, with Marc-Andre Fleury. But watch this, he gets the shit kicked out of him.
Just dumps it up into the Islanders zone. We love Max Talbot. Everybody in Pittsburgh loves Max. Who doesn't? And we love seeing him score. Now another battle here. Look at this.
DiPietro went out at Matt Cook because Matt Cook went in front of the crease. Remember how Matt Cook hit him 3 times last time in this building and he got called twice for goaltender interference? This time, look at the goaltenders might go at it. Here we go. Brent Johnson and DiPietro. I want to see it. Here we go. Oh, hit him with a left. He caught. Oh, you hit him. He's not going to hit him again. But he's going to hold him down and not let him up.
Well, he hammered him good.
Johnson hit him like Stahl hit Pruss last night. It only took one left, and DiPietro was down. And I thought, you know what happened here? I think this is Johnson coming to Cook's rescue. I think Johnson thought that DiPietro took a shot at Matt Cook coming across the crease, Staggy. That's what I believe Johnson thought here. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw DiPietro come out and engage himself. Let's take a look here. A nice thing called DiPietro comes in front, and he takes a shot high on Matt Cook. No question about it. DiPietro gets a high shot on Matt Cook, who comes across the front. And look at DiPietro. What's DiPietro looking for? And then the left is going to come across here. Boom, right on the chin, and wow. And now here comes Marc-Andre Fleury. He's got to polish this off.
Is there a bigger pussy than Rick DiPietro in the National Hockey League, though? Seriously?
What was he trying to prove?
I don't know. He was, first of all, he was wrong, okay? Because you saw what he did when he put the stick up in the face of that defenseman. And number two, I don't know, maybe it was Brent Johnson who really wanted to fight there because he might have just been defending his player who DiPietro just kind of whacked in the face with his stick. But DiPietro, my God, you got to be kidding me. One swift punch to the chin, and he went flying down like a little girl. I mean, that was brutal. And this is a guy, you want to talk about an utter bust. I make fun of Ilya Kovalchuk being a bust sometimes. Is there a bigger bust in sports history, maybe, than this guy is?
Well, I think to add insult to injury, I think I was reading in the on the NHL.com that he's out 4 to 6 weeks because of this incident.
Oh, DiPietro?
I believe so.
Really? What happened?
I'd have to pull it up because I don't have this. I don't have the story. I'd probably lose it, but I'm pretty sure I read on the site that he's out 4 to 6 weeks.
That is something. Look, he stubs his toe, and he's on and out for about 6 weeks. I mean, seriously, this guy is a medical nightmare. He got that ridiculous 15-year contract, and which is just even more absurd, or 10-year contract, or whatever the hell it is. And the guy has played less than he has not played. I just don't understand, though. I like when the goalies fight, though. I still think that's old school. 15 years, my Viking Mike is saying. And speaking of old school hockey, what about last night?
I don't know what happened last night. You have to refresh.
Are you paying
my
attention
memory,
to me or the chat room?
I don't know. I'm sort of going back and forth.
This is a co-host
No,
thing.
go
You're not
ahead.
shoving
I'm
here.
paying attention. Go ahead.
So
No, go ahead.
what about last night? What happened last night?
I don't know. It looks like the Rangers hit 2 posts and ran out of time and didn't score enough goals because they were down 3-0 going into the third period. Well, actually, they were down 3-1. My apologies.
Forced back by
Okay,
Volchenkov.
here we go.
That's fired from a sharp angle by Mark Stahl. Stahl racing back to the defensive mode. Here's Kovalchuk, who shoots and scores. He found an opening on the short side. He beats Henrik Lundqvist a minute 4 seconds into the game.
Sam, that's something that he was not doing at the beginning of the season. Remember, he started this, and then stayed on the ice, been getting a lot of ice time. He was still out there, and this again was something, that shot, very few players in the league can score from that spot right there with this type of shot. I mean, it was absolutely perfect. Up high, hit the crossbar, and then down and in.
Steban fires it out for Gabrick, but the puck bounced and hit the sideboards. Gabrick was hoping it would come off the boards right to him in stride. The Linders pass across, shot by Zubris. On the line, it's put in. A hard shot by Dinas Zubris. Lundqvist got some of it, but not all of it. Shot gave Brodeur a little trouble. Back the other way, Zubris. Zuccarello comes back to intercept, but he didn't get it out of the zone. Set up for Ralston, and he blasts it home. A big shot by Brian Ralston. Stahl moves it up for Dubinsky. Shot by Fane is blocked. Rangers come out.
Oh yeah, and the Rangers scored 2 goals yet a little bit later on too. But you know, do you realize if? And again, I want to beat this to death. If the Devils were to even make the playoffs as the 8th seed, you still with me, Zilla?
I'm listening.
I couldn't tell. You were like, it didn't even look like you were breathing. You didn't even blink. They would have to play 8:30 hockey, which is like 32-5.
Did you realize that if the Rangers missed the playoffs, then everyone wouldn't have to call me a liar? Because guess what? Buffalo is only, when I looked at Buffalo right now, they're playing Pittsburgh tonight in a very big game, because that 2 points right there could push them within 4 points of the final playoff spot. And they're only, the Rangers have 61 right now, so that means they're only maybe, 10, 11 points back. And Buffalo does have games in hand. They've only played 49 games. The Rangers have played like 54 now. And guess what? That's why you got to play a whole season. The problem is, I've said it from day one, I keep repeating myself, it's about consistency. You don't win games, it's how you start. I mean, it's how you finish here in the NHL. You got to win games. And the Rangers have not shown consistency, and when they're flat, you can tell.
So what are you expecting here? You think that they're just going to fall flat again like they did last year toward the end of the season, the second, third?
Well, they can't have any more injuries because obviously the voodoo doll has come to curse the Rangers, because it looked like last night Henrik Lundqvist did get hurt at some point in the game. I thought that's why they took him out. He did go up 3 goals and 12 shots, but I know they did show him towards the middle of the third period before they brought in Biron to replace him, that it looked like he did get shook up and he did get hurt. It looked like, I don't know if he hurt his shoulder or hurt his glove hand or whatever it was. But I know they did take him out, and if they lose Lundqvist, forget it.
I wouldn't say that. Barona's played very good backup. He really has.
Right, he has. I'm like I said, I'm just giving from my personal opinion what the games that I've seen, because I haven't seen every game. I just think there are teams behind the Rangers that once they pass the Rangers, if the Rangers don't go on a nice winning streak, they could be in deep trouble.
Okay, all right. Well, I don't know. I have a feeling that they're going to find a way to. I just have a feeling they're going to find a way to make it this year. I don't know why. I mean, look, you also have to realize something else here. When you're playing the team they played last night is a team that just happens to be lucky right now. They're playing a good stretch. They're not a good hockey team. I still, it's going to take a miracle for them to get into the playoffs. Obviously, it's not going to happen. But the Rangers had a little trip up. They have a couple of trip ups once in a while, but other than that, I think they've played pretty decent hockey.
I tend to take the latter on this one. I have to agree to disagree here because most of the games that I've seen, yes, they come back and they have that comeback ability. They had the same thing last year where they fight tooth and nail. But guess what? In the NHL, you have to score. And any team that can put up points like a Pittsburgh or a Philadelphia, or even in Tampa Bay, you're in trouble. And the Rangers have not done well against those teams that are ahead of them. If they have to play them in the playoffs, guess what? They're not winning that battle.
That's true. That is true. All right. Well, I think we're going to just agree to disagree on that. How about if we take a quick break? How about that?
Okay, go ahead.
All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, let's see. What do you want to go to next? We could go to Ronald Reagan turning 100. We could
I do have a little story. It's not a big story. It's actually about a show that you did play on KC and 60.
So let's get to it right now. We don't need to take a break. We don't. That was for resetting purposes. But go for it.
Okay, and we have some time before this little break because I actually do have a little story on hoarders.
Oh, really?
Yes, I have a little story out of Des Moines, Iowa.
Des Moines.
Where Des Moines. I'm sorry. And,
Silent S.
Sorry.
It's like
Peyton, my alphabet.
No, it's like Peyton Manning and all that other shit.
Yeah. Okay. But anyways.
You're blurry, by the way.
I'm blurry. Damn it, Jimmy. What'd you do to me? Jimmy, am I better now?
We only have about 1,700 graphics up on the air, but that's okay.
Maybe I should get closer to the camera, and then I'd probably break it.
No, it's fine now. It's back into focus.
Okay, I'll start before I get blurry again. But basically, there's a story where you never know what you're going to find in a house full of junk and whatever you want to call it. So they were digging and digging, and lo and behold, they found a casket.
What?
There was a casket in a hoarder house.
Oh, no. All right, now...
Yep. Now, there was no one in it, obviously.
Okay.
But I just thought it was something to bring to the table, and I guess we can go to a break now, because I have no video on that.
No. We got to talk about this first. A casket. Now,
casket.
Did the story say anything about whether there was anything being stored in the casket, or if somebody slept in the casket, or anything like that?
No, it said that the house is basically being cleaned out because there was a lot of stuff in it, and they're pulling out everything in there, and they said it's making a lot of news because, you wouldn't expect to see someone pull that out of a house. No. And I guess when you have that much junk and stuff in the house, you never know what you'll pull out.
That's true. It probably just blends in with the rest of the shit.
Right.
Oh,
right.
My God. There was a hoarding story just the other day from Wayne, New Jersey, I think it was. And I think there was a house fire in it, and they were hoarding cats. And I want to say that there were 140 in the house.
Oh, my God.
And like 100 of them died or something like that in this fire. This is not the one that I covered.
Jimmy wants to hear this.
Oh, it's brutal, though. I mean, these people are it's disgusting what they do to these poor animals. It's not fair to the animals. It really isn't that they should have to live with human disgraces like that. Oh.
And then you got people they abandon their animals and they have to live in feces and all that. It's sickening and disgusting. And I'm an animal lover, so I'm sickened by that story.
What? Do you have pets?
No, unfortunately, we had goldfish when we were younger, but we went away on vacation, and one of them, let's say, decided to have a little bite to eat and decided to devour the other ones.
Oh, okay, that's sad.
Mm-hmm.
That's sad. Yeah. Oh boy. All right, well, let's take that break.
I had some dogs when I was younger, but I don't remember.
Oh, no, that's what I meant. Like you did have dogs when you were younger, then. So
yeah.
Just awful. Just awful. All right, we'll take that break. We'll be right back. How's that?
Sounds good.
Yeah. How can we celebrate that? Is there any way we might be able to celebrate what happened this weekend?
I think there is.
Okay.
Can you count me off? Can you give me like a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2? Like, give me some kind of count off. I'm going to say.
A 2, a 1, 2, 3, go.
Ball game over. Yankees lose. The Yankees lose. S, suck. Here comes the Stankies. Let's get behind and boo the Yankees. They're gonna learn to fear the Metsies. Everyone knows.
The purpose of that was to see how many people would start and tolerate it and for how long we could go on. And I think I was the first person to break.
Well, guess what? You know, I have a tolerance for it, and I don't care. And guess what? We can say beat the Mets. How many times do you want to sing beat the Mets? I could start singing right now, but guess what? You don't need to sing it to prove it.
Are you still bitter over Andy Pettitte retiring?
Oh, I'm so sad. Boo-hoo-hoo. I guess we could talk about that for a whole day, but I don't think we have enough time to talk about Andy Pettitte's retirement.
I gotta be honest. I like baseball better off with Andy Pettitte playing, even though he's a steroid using cheater. I mean, the guy is one of the best all time in postseason. I mean, it's sad. He was basically crying today when he was on with Mike Francesa and he was giving his exit interviews and things like that. But it's amazing how he escapes the wrath of steroids when so many other athletes don't. And he was as prime an example of a steroid abuser as there were.
Well, I think the only thing you have to realize that he's the only one that told the truth.
Big difference. Big difference, isn't it?
But still, like I said, I mean, we could talk about this on and on. You know, Pettitte's resume and career body of work is over a 16-year span where he had 200 wins and 138. 240 wins and 138 losses. Not to mention the 10 years of pitching 200 innings. And you think of two guys that are in the Hall of Fame that he had more wins than in Whitey Ford and in I can't remember the guy's name. I just had it. I'm drawing a blank now.
That's okay.
But anyway, I'm saying that there are a couple guys in the Hall of Fame, that he has better numbers and win potential. But like I said, the Hall of Fame has to look at credentials over a body of work to decide whether or not players get in. And they were doing a comparison of maybe Pettitte having the same, resume as a Tim Raines who eventually got in with all his numbers. But the bottom line, when it comes down to think of Andy Pettitte for the Hall of Fame, the fact that he did do steroids, and anyone that breaks that barrier that did steroids would be a big step for anyone else. But I think Andy Pettitte's the more legitimate one because he told the truth about it. He's not afraid to deny it. He did it because he was recovering from an injury and did it for 1 year. Now, whether or not he did it for more years, who knows? We'll never know. Oh, we're going to a break. Oh.
Yeah. All right, we got a Shovio break. Hate to cut you off right in the middle because you were right in a good stream of thought. Be right back.
No problem.
It is 43 minutes past the hour. Canessa and the great Rodzilla back with you here on KC and 60 on this Friday evening. Interesting Raketu commercial, isn't it?
Don't you just miss those Shovio commercials?
Like, what do you mean? Like, I don't know. Those wonderful ones like, let's say, this one?
GTFU Charlie Sheen.
I'm bald and my beard is white.
FML.
my
I'm attracted to my cousin.
Hey, did you guys know that you can get a webcam for about $20 now? So you don't have to use the chat room all the time?
2010. Hope it's a great year for everybody.
I love the taste of my own boogers.
When I gotta go, I do a dance. Holy crap, I just peed my pants.
Get me out of the boat and I feel like crap.
My girlfriend is a real person, and I'm an internet geek.
2010.
You know, I put that back in the queue the other day for the opportunity to play it on a moment just like you set it up. And you set it up perfectly. But I had to scroll through the entire thing because I had it nowhere near the top of the queue. It's all the way down at the bottom of the queue. But you set that up just perfectly. Do you realize that?
Did you realize that there's only 2 people on that on the squares there that are left?
Well, there was you and me.
Mm-hmm.
That's true because Eric Levine is gone. Kevin Murray's gone. Duchess of Cool Titles is gone. Pocono Bob is not doing so well. Let's see, who else is in there? Michael the Naked Jew, right? And Eric.
Mulguy Eric, who's under Mulguy Eric, and he actually came on as the Sanchez and Rex's feet. So I guess he's got a different alter ego now. But,
yeah, the real
no,
Eric's in
it's
Witness Protection.
I don't know where he is. I don't know. He's been on Zach's show the past couple of days trying to win prizes. Ooh.
I know. It's so typical of Eric. When there's something being given away, there he is, and he's ready to go.
He probably wanted free tickets to the Super Bowl, but he just didn't make it there. I think he needs to buy more Peerless Spoilers.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Oh, wait a minute. We also forgot about Rocco, too. That's true. Rocco was in that commercial. Rocco made the damn commercial, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
I love the taste of my own boogers. Hey, you know the one thing about that?
And my beard is white.
I'm bald, yes, white. You know, and the funny thing is, Kevin Murray doesn't even talk that way either. I'm bald and my beard is white. He just, he was just one of the most laid-back, nice guys I've ever met. And I don't know, he sounded all professional when he said that. And that was bizarre. So,
maybe he sucked a lot of helium out of a balloon before he did that commercial.
I'm bald and my beard is white.
No, it sounded someone else.
Gotcha. Now, what year were you born?
81.
You had to think about that?
I didn't think about it.
Oh, okay. All right. Maybe it was just that there was a delay in my me.
There must be a delay.
That's what it is, right?
Maybe I'm still blurry.
Well, it's very interesting because you were born the year that Ronald Reagan took office. And coming up on Sunday, Ronald Reagan would have turned 100 years old, which is just remarkable. And, you know, I think all sides of the political spectrum, whether you are a liberal, whether you're a conservative, Democrat, Republican, I think most people look back pretty fondly at Ronald Reagan as President of the United States. I know for myself as I was a kid, you know, we used to have mock elections. I was in 84 in 4th grade, and then, of course, in 88 I was in 8th grade. And both times I remember voting for Ronald Reagan in the mock elections. And I'm sorry, 80 and 84. So 88 was for the president, so I take that back. But in 1984, I remember voting for the guy. And listen, you think of him what you want. I don't know if there was ever a better orator or a better person to just feel comfortable knowing that he was in charge than Ronald Reagan was. What are your thoughts on that, or am I stepping over here?
Right. Well, even though I think Ronald Reagan was a very impactful figure in the political realm, and the fact that he was one guy that a lot of people looked up to as a leader, and he made the right decisions and really didn't do anything wrong. And I have to look at it, even though I wasn't born before Kennedy took office. It's a shame that he went so young, because they actually did a TOC. I didn't get to watch it yet, but they actually did a whole family retrospective memoirs of Kennedy family memories. I did not get to watch that. I'm actually looking forward to watch that. It's actually on the DVR upstairs. So
okay.
Yeah, so
Is that the one where they
something to
took?
watch. It was on,
I'm sorry. Is that the one where they took a lot of like old footage from them from up in
Right.
Cape Cod and stuff?
I believe so. It was on TOC. I'm sure if you went on YouTube or one of those channels, you could probably find that episode. But like I said, I mean, I would agree. I mean, Ronald Reagan. You know, I was born in '81, so I got to see the beginning of the Reagan years as it was, and after Reagan, I mean, you can't really think of anyone. I mean, Clinton had his issues, Bush had his issues, and now Obama had his issues. So you look at someone who had longevity, and even from now until even when he's gone, you still look back at Ronald Reagan and see the things that he did for this country.
Reagan had one big issue, but he escaped it, and that was the Iran-Contra affair.
Right.
But for the most part, when you think of Ronald Reagan, of course there are going to be people who will turn around and say, well, he did some crazy things with spending, and he certainly in the early years of HIV/AIDS he ignored it. But that's because people didn't know much about it, I mean, what's he supposed to do?
Right.
There wasn't enough information out about it at that time. Excuse me. But for the most part, when you think of Ronald Reagan, you think of him standing at the Berlin Wall. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. You think of him comforting the families of the Challenger, and it's all positive. I mean, this is a guy who just made you feel like, wow, I am so honored that this is the guy who is my president, that when he goes abroad, he truly represents me. And look at what he did. I mean, in 1984, he won 49 states. The only state he lost was...
I don't remember. I'm
Take a
sure
guess.
You do.
Take a guess.
Is it the smallest state?
No.
Give me the initial of the first letter.
Let's put it this way. His opponent rather, was Walter Mondale.
Walter Mondale.
Not Oregon. Let's see if anybody in the chat room knows it. The one state that Ronald Reagan lost in the 1984 election. Mini Oregon, that's correct. In Minnesota, that is correct. Frog Hill with the right answer. Yeah, even Massachusetts went to Ronald Reagan, believe it or not, in 1984. How ridiculous! I mean, this is a guy who was just a uniter who everybody loved. That map was severely red that year, and what more can you say? And so I have a quick little video, and I was hoping you wouldn't mind if I showed it, in honor of President Reagan, who would have turned 100 years old this Sunday. How's that?
Go ahead, man.
All right, here it is, without any further ado. It's narrated by Fred Dalton Thompson, former U.S. Senator and former star of Law and Order.
Long before President Ronald Wilson Reagan led the United States of America, he worked as an actor.
Ask them to go in there with all they've got. Win just one for the Kipper.
A spokesman.
For General Electric, here is Ronald Reagan.
Good evening.
And the governor of California. February 6, 2011 marks the day President Reagan would have turned 100 years old. This moment is a historic opportunity to remember the life, lessons, and legacy of America's 40th president.
We are too great a nation to limit ourselves to small dreams.
Ronald Reagan strongly believed America's best days lie ahead.
Those who say that we're in a time when there are no heroes, they just don't know where to look.
By speaking of traditional ideals that hearken to the founding of our country, and by projecting an aura of confidence and optimism, President Reagan inspired America to regain its sense of purpose.
We've got to do a better job of getting across that America is freedom. Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of enterprise, and freedom is special and rare. We the people are free.
Ronald Reagan stood for timeless beliefs, freedom, liberty, and American exceptionalism, principles that must be fought for, protected, and handed down for future generations to do the same.
And children, if your parents haven't been teaching you what it means to be an American, let them know and nail them on it. That would be a very American thing to do.
President Reagan was a man of deep convictions and abiding faith. He also never failed to see the humor in life.
Well, the first thrill tonight was to find myself for the first time in a long time in a movie on prime time.
I will not make age an issue of this campaign. I am not going to exploit, for political purposes, my opponent's youth and inexperience.
Letter came from Peter Sweeney. He's in the 2nd grade in the Riverside School in Rockville Center. And he said, I hope you get well quick, or you might have to make a speech in your pajamas.
We knew Ronald Reagan as president, governor, Dutch, the Gipper, and the great communicator.
I never thought it was my style or the words I used that made a difference. It was the content. I wasn't a great communicator, but I communicated great things, and they didn't spring full bloom from my brow. They came from the heart of a great nation, from our experience, our wisdom, and our belief in the principles that have guided us for 2 centuries.
He believed in democracy and freedom to the core of his soul.
You all knew that some things are worth dying for. One's country is worth dying for, and democracy is worth dying for because it's the most deeply honorable form of government ever devised by man.
And he tirelessly fought tyranny, oppression, and communism to create a better world.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Above all, Ronald Reagan believed in America and in Americans. He led us to have faith in our strength and unshakable confidence in our great nation and to champion the oppressed.
As long as we remember our first principles and believe in ourselves, the future will always be ours. And something else we learned. Once you begin a great movement, there's no telling where it'll end. We meant to change a nation, and instead, we changed a world.
On the centennial anniversary of Ronald Reagan's birth, we remember most that President Reagan inspired freedom and changed the world.
And did he ever? The basic end of communism on his watch, Russia, the fall of the Berlin Wall, I mean, you name it, this guy did it. And I'll tell you what, as much of a liberal as I am right now, I will go to my grave being grateful that the man was the President of the United States. And I don't know if we'll ever see somebody who was as glorified as a president as he was. You know, there just doesn't seem like there's a leader out there who, when he walks in a room, will just command you to be at attention immediately without even thinking about it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, you know, Reagan had a way with people, and that video just simply put showed it. And it's, you know, very shocking today that, you know, no one sees his views. And if we lived by Reagan's creed about freedom, about everyone going together for the common cause, you know, America wouldn't be the way it is right now with war and the economy and everything the way it is. You know, times have changed, and that's a part of life, you know. Times change. Nothing stays the same.
That's right. That's right. And look, the guy wasn't as conservative as people make him out to be either. He really wasn't. And, you know, part of it was because the man was a Democrat when he started out in politics. And his old saying was, I didn't leave the Democratic Party left me. But a lot of his ideals and a lot of his traditions were not overly conservative. And that's why I just do kind of feel like, listen, he's a man to be respected. He was a man of fault. Everybody is. No perfect people, to use the Heinz words, right? But the truth of the matter is, right, on this his 100th birthday, it's an appropriate time to remember the good things that he did without the bad.
Amen.
Amen. And guess what?
We're out of time.
That's going to do it for this edition. Why don't you sign off tonight?
And it is 2 minutes before 8 o'clock on this Friday night, and I don't know if we have any other shows tonight, but let me say it has been an honor co-hosting with my friend Kevin Canessa, who always does a great show here on Shovio.com, and I hope you continue to support him as I do. And let me tell you, Kevin, no one does it like you, and guess what? Without you, we wouldn't be coming on here.
Hey, thank you very much, buddy. And you know what? It just hit me tonight when I saw you calling me today. I said, we haven't done a co-hosting gig in months, and I am the one who is honored. I appreciate it more than you can ever know, and your loyalty and support. Let me not get into it again because I think you know how I feel. Thank you.
Don't let me get all emotional now.
Yeah, no Irish tears tonight, I promise. So from Rockaway, New Jersey, yep, where he is, out in Rockaway, about 40 miles from me, and from Fords, New Jersey, the armpit of New Jersey, Kevin Canessa saying thank you for watching. And don't forget, coming up at 1 o'clock on Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday show live from New York City.
That's right.
Yeah, so tune in for that. Until then, have a great weekend. Rodzilla, thanks again, buddy.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Goodbye.